band in the UK last week, is what you're saying.
It was just
it.
a fluke spontaneous.
So much.
What the heck?
Spontaneous?
Spontaneous.
See, teamwork. We got that together. See, that's my issue, except I'm a radio host. So when you're on live radio and I can't think of the word, or I just like, it's really humbling. I'm like a recovering perfectionist because you just will make mistakes on the air all the time.
You're not professional sometimes.
No, but I don't think people want that. They want like unfiltered, unscripted, real conversation. And now I just realized that the audience is so forgiving. Like in real life, when you make a mistake in real conversation, everyone remembers.
I have heard one TED talk and she said that when you are doing an interview or you doing a podcast or any TED talk, when you fumble, even the audience fumble with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you do good, the audience is with you.
It's true. I think that's true.
So more than you, it's the audience who is nervous for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so true. And part, like, you know, and I still get nervous whenever I do this stuff, but you realize in this position you set the tone, right? So if I'm going to be normal. And so much of it is literally why I call it a host. Like when you come to my house, I want you guys to know yourself.
There was one friend of mine, he used to do presentations during my philosophy majors, and what she used to do when we were on stage, she used to just sit at a blank spot and she used to just, make our head nod so that we know that she used to like we are doing good, you are doing good. And I learned it from her.
It's
and
true.
today, whenever someone is doing an interview or a presentation, I'm like,
I'm like a perpetual head nodder.
Yeah.
Just because I want to like encourage but I sometimes look a little crazy and deranged,
Yeah.
but I'm like overly trying to make someone feel better.
Neither.
I'll take the pink one.
Thanks so much for bringing your friend along.
Yeah, look at us now.
I know. I'm sad about leaving. But honestly, like, you both have my contact details, and if there's ever a topic where like I really feel strongly about this, I host a weekend radio show, so you're always invited, and then you can come to the studio and see what that's like, and that's the whole part of this experiment, right? Is that it continues after we leave, right? And if we never come here, then I might not got to realize. So that's the benefit of doing a project like this. All right, talking to you.
for how long you have been in CBC?
Since 2016, so it's like 8 years. I lost all track of time. My background is not in journalism or anything. I used to work mainly in the community, right? Especially with newcomers, immigrants, research and government around multiculturalism integration. I actually wanted to go into academics, but it was not the plan. But the reason why I was first in CBC was exactly like you guys. Like I was being interviewed, and this was in my 20s. And always on like really serious topics because 9/11 had just happened. So it was always about terrorism or why Muslim women have to wear their hijab, like some really serious, heavy topics where I felt like I had to defend my entire Muslim community. And a lot of questions were something I'm still trying to figure out. But you guys, you can take a seat. Come in. You know what to do. Make yourself at home. started yet. So there you go. But we do need to make CBC more reflective of the population, whether that's like cultural background or like socioeconomic demographic. Like if everyone at CBC is like middle class, votes a certain way, lives in a certain way, it's more reflective of the
Yeah,
public that we
it's fine to be hated by the community.
Yeah.
It's okay to be have a particular community and a hate of a particular community because at the end of the day, you can't be loved by everyone. It's okay. The thing is, it's fine. Even if you're getting hate, you are getting TRP. That's good. That's all good. Would you like to not on your phone, yeah.
This is my first year here, so pretty fresh. Like I just started in November. So the whole college experience has been like very new and refreshing and different to change of pace. Have you been here for a while?
Actually, I'm out of school from last 5 years.
Okay.
I have my graduation. I did my PhD. I'm doing psychology. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for you.
I just really want to be a doctor. Even I want to make my life and be a professor.
Yeah.
That way I would love to keep learning.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You're from Manitoba.
I'm from Manitoba, yeah. I was born in Selkirk, which is just a little bit north of Winnipeg, yeah. So, but yeah, I've lived like my whole life.
I would say not changed because you have been here.
Yeah, it's always been, I'd say it's called a hidden city, not the best city, but I've grown to love like the,
They can move over, but make sure the mics stay in the chairs. So. And you leave the mic, and then you take the mic. And, or yeah, you can do that. Okay, perfect. That's less confusing.
So Brian, we can get started. Yeah. But we might get a third person. And that's still cool? Yeah? Oh, me. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. But just join us.
Whenever, just let us know when
Okay. Yeah, 1 second. All right. Yeah, I'm good to go. Hi, welcome to our panel discussion. My name is Nadia Kidwai. I'm a senior producer at CBC Manitoba, senior producer of Community Connection. That's an actual title, not a dating app. The reason we are an RRC Polytech is part of our project called Communities in Focus. CBC Manitoba recognizes that we need to do a better job of reflecting our province, whether that's geographical areas or in this case, age groups. And we have been in RRC Polytech in the Notre Dame campus last week, and we're here this week because we want to get to know Gen Z better, the students that come here, what matters to them, what stresses them out, what they're looking forward to. Last week we had a panel on dating, which was a suggestion from a student at RRC Polytech. Today we're having a conversation on what fulfills you. And this, again, was something that came out of a conversation I had with a student here. His name's TJ. When I asked him, like, what matters to you most, he said to me, being fulfilled. And I found that really, really interesting. So today we've got joined by some students who also have some thoughts on the idea of fulfillment and purpose and motivation. I'm joined by Odin Hutton, who's making a return appearance. Hello, Odin.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, nice to see you. And we're joined by Anmol. Anmol is also one of the students here at RRC Polytech.
Hi,
Anmol.
everyone. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. TJ will hopefully join us. If he does, that's fabulous. But it's very rock and roll and casual in this conversation. And that's really kind of the whole point of this. First of all, Odin, thank you for coming back. You had such profound comments from our dating panel, although I should say, turn of events in your love life. What happened?
We just kind of went different ways, seen different paths, needed different things from each other that we couldn't provide, so...
You broke up?
We broke up.
And I feel like we jinxed you. Did we? Did this panel
I might have
jinx
jinxed
you?
myself.
I'm so sorry.
You know, it's really... It is what it is.
How are you doing, though?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
I'm doing okay, as well as I can be, I think. But
we're joking about it, but breakups and relationships and friendships are all real things that I actually hope we can get into this discussion. For both of you, let's talk about fulfillment. Anmol, when I asked you what your goal in life is, you said something that I found really interesting, which was peace. Tell me more about that.
For me, peace would be my people. And when I say my people, it includes my family, my library back home, my books, and that's it. And maybe I want to keep learning on till the end.
Yeah.
I want to do philosophy, PhD, and I really want to learn everything till then and teach my students what I have learned so far. So, you know, this is what my dad did. He learned whole his life, and now he's teaching us. He learned this, and I'm actually able to grow out of that cocoon, you know, the small cocoon. Now I'm a butterfly, I'm flying all around. Okay. Yeah, that feels good. I want my students to be the same,
So family is important, learning is important, and that's what gives you peace.
Yeah.
Okay. Odin, what fulfills you? I'm going to get you the mic so we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, right, sorry. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Fulfillment is, for me, it's such a broad spectrum, you know, because that can very much change on a daily basis. What could be fulfilling? It could be the donuts that you guys are handing out.
Free
that
donuts.
Definitely fill me up. But it also can be setting a goal and achieving that goal and making progress in your life. So fulfillment to me varies on a daily basis, but ultimately it's just feeling good about myself and the things that I do.
What makes you feel good about yourself?
Success in a certain way, you know, succeeding at doing what I want to do. So right now I'm in school. I just had a test the other day. I passed.
Congrats.
So that's success for me. And so that's something that fulfills me, that I feel good about, that I feel strongly about and confident about. And so it's certain things like that, setting a goal and then achieving it can help fulfill and just make me feel better.
You're a carpentry student as well, right? Tell me what it is
Correct.
about carpentry that gives you so much fulfillment.
It's, for me, something that's very, I don't want to say masculine, but for me, it helps me find my masculinity and find comfort in what I'm doing as an artist, because in carpentry, it's a lot of woodworking and creation, you know? There's a lot of drive behind it that kind of tickles the curiosity in my mind and gives me the opportunity to create and actually do something with my body and my hands and my mind and put it all together and make something really cool.
I want to come back to that comment you said around masculinity. I think that's really interesting. And while your background is in philosophy, you're an accounting student right now, but your passion seems to be philosophy. Something that you said to me earlier when we were chatting was something that gives you a sense of fulfillment is You're a very kind of like black and white thinker. You don't like gray areas. Tell me more about that.
Oh yeah, gray areas. Okay, so the whole generation of our lives in gray. They're not black and white. I would say it like, I wouldn't say the whole, but like 80-90% of people, they are still in gray zone, and I don't like it. You know, making your decisions before even rationalizing anything, before considering, it could be the pros, it could be the cons, and then just doing it. It's hilarious, you know, like I have seen people getting into bad habits, going out on clubs, partying, and not attending the colleges, not doing the assignments, not studying, and I'm like, you know the pros and cons of it, and still you're doing it. They're like, we are enjoying it. I see enjoyment is really important. As you said, the daily fulfillment is important, but not at the cost of your future. Or maybe, like, for me, I'm a very family person, so I would think I won't be able to teach my kids if I don't learn. I won't be able to tell them this is wrong, this is right. Yeah, so that thing, yeah.
I feel like you have a very mother-like role amongst your friends, like no clubbing, do your homework.
No.
Right,
No, I come from a family, you will be very, it's a strange thing.
Yeah.
I have been to clubs, I have been to pubs, but only with my mom and dad. I come from that background.
Interesting.
I have been on outings, but
Yeah.
only with my dad and my mom.
Interesting.
I have, like, I drink,
Yeah.
but we have a policy at home that only to drink in family.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
so I had my first drink with my dad. So that's something really different.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm that kind of mother.
I like it. Your children, when they're of age, will drink with you.
Yeah.
Odin, let's go back to something that you said about what drew you to carpentry, which was this connection to your masculinity and your masculine side. Why was that so important for you?
So when I grew up without my biological father in my life for reasons, whatever, it doesn't matter. But so I was surrounded by female energy, my mother, aunts, my grandmother, and there was always just this feminine energy that kind of raised me. So in raising, there's a lot of different kind of standards that I like, you know, like putting the toilet seat down, always careful.
Thank you.
And
on behalf of all women, thank you.
Definitely just all these different ideas. And so coming up and being raised like that, there were a lot of things that I feel like I lacked. And so there weren't as many opportunities that I felt confident in trying or doing, or that I felt like I was allowed to do because of the background that I had with my family.
Can you give me an example?
Well, like sports,
Yeah.
I was very shy to play sports
Right.
at first, but then my mother actually was like, just do it,
Yeah.
you know? And so with my mother's encouragement, it gave me the ability to play some football and
Yeah.
do well in that, and then carry that into my high school career. And it also gave me a lot of confidence in going into something like carpentry.
Interesting.
You know, building me up
Yeah.
and trying something new.
Where you found this masculine energy.
Yeah,
And what-
absolutely.
What difference has that made for you?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's very much confidence. I feel like I can kind of do anything I set my mind to now without worry, without concern, you know, in a respectful manner, of course. I'm not going to, you know, be reckless and silly, but definitely find some peace in knowing that what I'm doing is for me, and I'm a man about it. That's how I identify. So.
Super interesting. Everybody, TJ's in the house. Let's raise the roof. The guest who inspired this whole panel discussion. TJ, hello. Welcome. So I want to bring you into this conversation. This is Odin. This is Anmol. They've kind of been sharing about what fulfills them. But honestly, this whole conversation was inspired by the conversation I had with you last week when I asked you what matters to you most. And I thought you might say, you know, I don't know, inflation or money or jobs. And you said, having a sense of fulfillment. Tell me why that matters to you so much. And we'll just get you to put the microphone quite close to your mouth so we can hear.
Okay.
Perfect.
Is this loud?
Yeah, perfect.
Reason why that matters to me is because I'll say I've been through like different phases in my life's journey so far, and it got to a point where I started to ask myself, what's the point of everything I'm doing? Like, what's the point of everything that's going on in the world too, right? Like, what are we doing out here? Like, what's going on? Why are we doing what we're doing? Those why questions just started coming out, and it started to hit me a couple months ago. I kept digging in, read a bunch of articles online, went through Reddit, Quora, just anywhere I could find like any articles or just opinions. And I kept digging deep into that, just asking why. Like that was the main question, why? What is in fulfillment like? Why do we need fulfillment? You understand, right? What's the end goal? All this kind of question just kept coming out. And the reason why that matters to me is because I don't want to just go through life just roaming around, just doing random things, doing whatever I like, without really coming out at the end of it with like that sense of, hey, I did something meaningful out here with my time. I had this impact while I was here, you understand, right? So I think that's why that sense of fulfillment is very important to me.
It feels like you're looking for a sense of purpose as to why you're here.
Yeah.
Have you always had that in you, like this need for answers to those questions?
No.
Or did something change? Did something happen?
Yeah, I think it started around my early adult years, back when I was like 19, 20 years old. I just started to ask, like, you know, what's the reason behind, like that same why question just started coming out.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Just, you know, deep thinking, asking questions. I even had some friends who were tired of answering my questions because I just kept going on and on, especially during COVID too, because I had a lot more time to think, right?
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, just going deep into topics, ranges of topics, just asking why.
Yeah.
You know, just going deep into that.
You said you've experienced something recently, which I'd love you to tell me more about. You're a student in the collision repair and refinishing program here at RRC. You said recently that you've experienced an ego death. Tell me what you mean by that and what that was like.
I'll say right now, it's one of the things that I've been dealing with lately. Just having this ideas or like goals and targets that I used to identify myself with, right? And this was back in like 2021, 2022 when it all started. Then just going through that path, even getting something out of it, then just realizing that I wasn't really moving in the right direction or the way I was supposed to. Maybe I was just making some decisions I wasn't supposed to make and things like that. Then that just came with like a crash towards the ending. I was still glad I got something out of just the journeys I was just pursuing and things like that, right? But then I just started to lose that identity I was holding on to, and just like it was just like dissolving, and just me just being just a plain person, just asking questions and not even identifying myself with anything anymore. It was just more like me just see myself as just another human being on this planet, just out here just doing whatever I want to do, right?
Yeah.
There was no identity that I was holding on to. I wasn't really claiming to be anything. It was just more like, hey, I'm just me, man.
Yeah. Anmol and Odin, what are you hearing from TJ that might be resonating with you both?
To me, yeah, of course, but maybe at more early age, not 19 and 20s, maybe. Okay, so for me, I have lived away from my parents for 2 years when I was 8-9 years. Mm-hmm. And after that, it took me 10 years to rebuild that relationship with my parents again.
Interesting, yeah.
So, yeah, the time I was 11 and 12, I had the same questions, like 11, 12 years. And I was very different from the kids around me.
Yeah.
And I would feel like either I'm different or like I couldn't resonate with any of them.
Interesting, the people around you. Odin, you're nodding.
I mean, I'll spill the tea. I have an anxiety disorder. So the question of what if and why is something that always kind of is there. So when TJ talks about what is fulfillment, what is why, to me, that can be existential almost, and kind of create so much worry and concern when it should be more like, why not? Mm-hmm. Why not try? Why not fight? Why not encourage? Why not see?
So maybe more motivating to find your
absolutely.
path. Yes,
I completely agree with what he said. Because it also comes with this, I forgot to mention that in our last conversation, there's also the existential crisis that follows afterwards, where you're just in your head, just, you know, that loop where you're asking yourself why you're not even, it's like you're not even doing anything anymore because there's no ego to drive you to move to any direction. It's just more of you just being a plain person, and you're just like in your head now just asking why. It's like there's no motivation, there's no,
It's almost paralyzing.
there's no purpose, there's no drive anymore. It's just you just being there for like that moment, right? So I do agree what he said. It shouldn't be more about why. There should also be the other side to it, the why not. Like, why not do this while you're even here, right?
I want to, something that I'd love to hear from all three of you, kind of related to fulfillment, is around friendship and people around you. Like, Anmol, you said something really interesting, which is like when you were younger, you didn't feel like you fitted in with the people around you. And even now you said it's hard for you to make friends when we were talking before. TJ, you're also feeling that it's hard to kind of break into friendship groups here in Winnipeg. You were born in Nigeria, right? Moved here when you were 14.
Yeah.
But you're experiencing some kind of challenge breaking into certain groups here. Tell me more about your experience with belonging, I guess, is the word I'm looking for, belonging.
Yeah, it's a crazy story because moving here, it was pretty nice that first summertime. I arrived around the end of April, 1st of May, 2014 actually. Then there was a summer learning program that I was taken to. My mom enrolled me in that. And I met a bunch of people from Sierra Leone, and they were very nice, very cool people to mingle with. They were pretty welcoming. But after that summer learning program ended, which was in like July, August of 2014, it kind of just like ended there. Like I didn't really get to see them outside of that. It was just them doing their own thing. Me, I was just kind of stuck in the house because I was in a new city I didn't even understand, right? Then moving over to high school, I started in grade 10. That was in the September of 2014. That was where things got really tough. Because getting into that place, one of my biggest fears was just being like the only black person in an environment, right? I didn't really like the idea of that, right? Then getting there and just seeing that I was the only black like guy in my grade, right? It was very scary. I was like the first couple months, I couldn't interact with anyone because I didn't know how to talk to people. Everything was so different. And people were just kind of like to themselves, closed off, not really looking forward to be friendly, which was very new to me compared to the experiences I had growing up in Nigeria, right? So it was a very tough experience to go through. And I dealt with that for like the most part of high school. I'll say around grade 10, the later parts of grade 10, grade 11 and grade 12, things just started to get better, but I still felt that disconnection and that like invisible wall where I just knew I wasn't really like deeply connected. It was just me just having all these like surface level interactions with other people around me.
And you wanted a deeper connection.
Yeah, I did want that.
Where are you with that now? Do you feel like you found those deeper connections? Do you feel a sense of belonging here in Winnipeg?
I won't say I feel a sense of belonging in Winnipeg, but there's the familiarity of being here for like 10 years now. So I do know places. I've been around a bunch of places. There's some places where I'll be recognized if I were to go there, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people, met a lot of people, established some connections and things like that. I do have like a couple friends, maybe like 3 or 4 that I have that deep connection with.
Yeah. Odin, what about you? Do you feel a sense of belonging? Do you feel like you found your place in this world? Tell me a little bit about your experience.
I don't think any of us should feel like that yet in our age, to tell you the truth. I think there's still so much sense of discovery right now. So if you feel like you belong, I feel like you need to maybe take a step back and look a little bit, because although there's those deep connections I've also created, there's also a lot of connections that I've had that have just kind of dissipated. Yeah. And so I feel like you should be constantly trying to expand and explore. Now I understand that might not be like applicable in certain aspects, or it might be difficult in certain degrees, but I still think like that effort of exploring is what's going to kind of generate possibility, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Anmol, you said something to me when we were talking yesterday, which made me laugh, which is like, you said, I don't like people. Yeah. Tell me about that. She said it so emphatically. There you go.
I hate people. And when I say I hate people, it somehow keeps me...
What does that mean?
Okay, for
and
me...
I don't really believe you.
Okay, I hate people. Even my friends don't believe me that I hate people.
Well, one of your friends is here. We're going to chat to her in a second, but you go.
Yeah. For me, okay, so if I meet you, I have some basic expectations from you.
Okay.
That at
I'm
least,
already scared.
No,
Continue.
no, no, not the basic. Like basic as in sense like humanitarian expectations,
manners.
like manners,
Yes.
respect.
Yes.
Maybe you might disagree with me. You might have different opinions,
Sure.
but you are listening.
Yeah.
You are considering me. That's it.
Yes.
That's the basic thing
Yeah.
I would say. And when people, like most of people, when they don't consider it, my bar of that thing goes low and I feel so disappointed.
Sure.
So to keep myself safe, I say I hate people.
Okay. So it's like a protective mechanism for your
yeah, it's
emotions.
So people don't come near to me.
Interesting.
I say I hate people and they're like, she might be negative. I'm like, okay, thank you. Stay away.
So that's interesting. So it's more like a protective mechanism. You've got the guards up, but you do have a friend here. So I'm going to chat to her because when I asked if she's your friend, you said she's more than a friend. So let's chat with her. She's smiling here. Hi, what's your name and what do you do here? I'm just going to lean down. Oh.
Hello, my name is Mehek and I'm studying in the second year for Science Lab Tech.
So is it true that Anmol hates people? Because clearly she likes you.
Yes, that's very true that she hates people.
But what is it about your friendship that, you clearly passed the test?
Yeah, I know, but we actually don't know how we get friends and how we are so close. Like it's the bonding from like so long, we think that, but
But you've only met each other, you've only known each other for how long?
it's been like 2 months. Yeah, and like we get so attached, like, because I learned from her a lot. She's very motivating to me. She has like a lot of knowledge that I really wanted to learn. So she is the one that I'll keep for a lifetime.
There you go. I want to say hi to Shruti as well. Shruti is a student at RRC. Shruti, we've been talking about what gives you purpose, fulfillment, motivation. What is that for you?
For me, it's almost the same as what everyone said. Family, it's really important because I've lived without them for over a year, and I've like kind of realized like their importance. And also like I have siblings, younger siblings, 10 and 12 years old, so they mean a lot to me. We are really attached, and living without them is like no meaning in my life. And getting enough time to spend with them. Like being a student, we don't usually get much time to spare for ourselves. Like it's really difficult. People are studying and then working either part-time or full-time, and they don't really get time to spend time with their families and friends. So I think, that's really important.
That's great. Thank you, ladies, for your comments. Just finally, like it's been really interesting hearing kind of the depth of thought behind what fulfills you, what gives you peace, the fact that you're asking these questions even. We live in this kind of hustle culture, and I wonder, like, especially it seems very like with images online of, people making millions and their side hustles and going to the gym and all these things, but it seems so intense. Like, how do you kind of navigate the hustle culture that we live in, specifically for your generation? TJ?
Yeah, so like we talked about in our first conversation, I actually went through that phase too, where I was just on that, I gotta grind, that mindset, right? I was just warped in that bubble. And this started after high school. Just shortly after high school, I was just, had some past wounds that I was dealing with, and that was like a driving force for why I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to prove to all those naysayers, all those people who are saying negative things and just things that were not pleasant, right? I'm gonna prove them wrong. And I also had my cousin tell me the same thing too. He said, prove them wrong, prove them wrong. So it was like an additional motivating force. And to me, there was this dark, positive blend with it, because on the positive side, I was working towards bettering myself, acquiring the things that I need as a young man in this world, right? But on the dark side, it was like I had this heavy heart where it was burning. Like it was just that burning force that was pushing me to get up, do this, do that, pursue, money, things like that, right? Go to the gym, stay online, do a lot of research, watch videos, how to be successful, how to acquire this, acquire that, the kind of lifestyle to be living, all those things. I think I watched like hundreds of YouTube videos. I still have a playlist saved too. It was just a lot of things I was just consuming. And underneath all this, it was that drive. But realizing during that ego death phase that it was dark positive. It wasn't really healthy because I was just having these recurring thoughts in my head, just using that as a driving force. Maybe when I'm working, when I'm in the gym, just, even when I'm in my room by myself, it was just coming back. And there was this pain that followed too. So I'm really glad I actually went through this because like now all those things have just disappeared. Like now I'm just at this plain phase in my life where I just don't have all those things coming at me anymore. Now I just have to like redefine what kind of like ideas I want to use to move forward in life, the kind of philosophy and things like that.
And that's the moment you're in right now. You're
Yeah.
just trying to figure out what the next direction is.
Yeah.
Interesting. Emma, what about you?
I don't use social media. So for me, looking at pictures
Because
and
you hate
everything.
people.
Yeah, I hate people, so I
Correct.
don't use social media.
Right.
And then I have zero idea about what goes on there. But it doesn't mean I don't have the knowledge about the trends going on, because I have Google, okay? I have YouTube. I watch videos. For me, when I look someone is doing great, I don't just see the, those $1 million, those cars. Because in my life, I have seen my dad working. He has been working, he was using buses, and then now he has his dream car, so I have seen him struggling. So for me, I look more at the struggle rather than just looking at the consequences, Okay, fine, car is something, I'll buy it someday. I'll make a home someday. But struggle, I won't even consider that as a struggle. I would say it's just work. You do it. Anyhow, if you want something, you have to do something. Because even if you want tea, you need to make it. Even if you want to sleep, you need to lay down and close your eyes, put blanket on. So even the easiest thing needs some work to be done. And that's okay, that's fine. It should be how it should be. You are doing your assignments and you're getting graded, and that's okay. That should it be $1 million, $1 billion? Okay, I love cars, okay? My favorite cars is Porsche 911 and then GTR Skyline 2019.
Wow, very specific.
Yeah, because my man is into cars, so
Okay,
because
fair
of him, yeah.
You like
cars.
your man, though, just to confirm. You do like
I
him. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I love
Just wanted
him.
to make sure. So this is what I find really interesting, because one of the kind of criticisms or stereotypes of Gen Z is that there's this sense of entitlement, that they just want to get rich quick without working for it. But you're saying the opposite, is that you saw your dad struggle, and yes, you do have to work for things. Odin, what about you? What do you make of all this hustle culture? Does it affect you? Does it impact you? How do you deal with it?
I think the hustle culture, personally, is really superficial. It's very fake. It's very organized. It's very the higher ups. It's almost like a pyramid scheme. It works against you. You're never going to actually work things out properly the way that you intend to through a hustle culture. It's just not. That's not how it works. You do need to put in some work and some effort and actually attempt to build yourself, because the reward that you reap at the end after knowing that you've worked and fought for it instead of kind of took a shortcut is so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
See what we did there? As than compared to as if you had done it through crypto or
Yeah.
some silly get rich quick scheme,
You said something before when we were chatting that I thought was really interesting. So you're a carpentry student, and you were talking about a perception of someone who works in construction. Because I'm really interested in that. What is that perception, and what do you wish people would acknowledge more?
I think the blue-collar workers in general are just a little overlooked. I think that there's a lot of hard work that gets done that people don't really take into account. And I'm not saying praise blue-collar workers. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that gets done that you don't realize. The school that we're sitting in right now, the conversation was built with a tremendous amount of hard work and effort, and I'm sure that the people that built this building have no recognition, and that's unfortunate. We aren't
praising the road crews in Winnipeg for patching the holes. We're mad at them for not doing it fast enough. But that's not fair because there's a process that goes, you know. So some acknowledgement would be nice. I'm not saying acknowledge me because I'm only level 1. I haven't built anything quite tremendous yet, but I will. I will. But I just think it would be nice if we take some time to appreciate instead of get mad at.
Odin, Anmol, TJ, thank you so much for this conversation. Really appreciate you taking the time, sharing your perspectives and your experiences. Thank you to our audience, and thank you for watching at home. Tomorrow morning, CBC Manitoba will be live streaming Information Radio Live. Right here, actually, Masumi Makusa will be hosting from RRC Polytech. So tune into our CBC Manitoba YouTube live stream from tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks, everyone. Round of applause. That was great.